Hope you've had a great day. I am super excited about tonight and tonight's training. We have 1,000 people registered from literally all over the world, and everybody from just all over the place. And so I'm just super, super excited about tonight. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff to get to, a lot of content, a lot of training. So whether you're a brand new speaker, you're just getting started and you're just like, I have no idea what to do next. I have no idea how to get started or where to begin. Or you're a speaker who's been at this for a while and you're trying to figure out how you book more gigs and build more of a repeatable system. Wherever you're at in your speaking journey, we're really honored and excited that you're here. Let's, before we get started, before we jump in, I hopped on here a couple minutes early. So for those of you who are already here, welcome. I'm so stoked that you're here. I'm really glad that you got in here early. So first of all, can you let me know if you can hear and see everything okay? I want to make sure everything's coming through loud and clear for you. So talk to me in the chat. Let me know if you can hear and see everything okay. Also, if you would, let me know who you are and where you're from. All right. I'm going to rely heavily on the chat tonight. I want to see who all is here, who all is joining us, and I want to give some shout outs to who all is joining us. So talk to me in the chat. Let me know who all is here, who all is joining us. Let me know how your day is going. For those, if we haven't had a chance to meet before, my name is Grant. I live just outside of Nashville, Tennessee with my lovely family. I'll tell you a little bit about them in a bit. So we will, we'll get to that. So, all right. Who all do we have joining us today? Got a lot of people here. I see we got Ashley. We got Kelly from Brisbane, Australia. We've got Michael in Iowa City. I think, yeah, Michael just joined our elite program. So welcome, Michael. Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. We've got Greg in Vegas. We got Ashley in Southern Idaho. We got Courtney in Iowa. Angela Joe in Delaware. We've got, let's see here, Brooks in Milwaukee. Dwayne is here. Jason in Mesa, Arizona. Quentin in LA. Jake in Ukraine, 3 a.m. in the morning. That is commitment. We are glad that you are here tonight, or this morning, or tomorrow, or yeah, okay. We got Dia in Durham, North Carolina. We've got someone in maybe Alberta, Canada. We got Thompson, Cleveland, Ohio, someone else in Salt Lake. So welcome to all of you again. Super stoked that you're here. Glad that you're joining us. Like I said, we're going to get started here just a couple minutes right at the top of the hour. But before we do, I always like to hop on here and see who all is joining us, who all is with us. So again, drop in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, so we can say hey to you. Also, while you're doing that, I want you to answer this question for me. What is your biggest challenge in your speaking business right now? What is your biggest challenge in your speaking business? Another way to think about this would be there's a lot of things that you could be doing with your time right now. You decided to hang out with us. So I want to know, why are you here? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel confused? Where do you feel overwhelmed or stressed? So talk to me, excuse me, talk to me in the chat. Let me know that for you. And I want to make sure that we cover that for you today. Okay, let's see here. We've got Robbie in South Carolina, Lisa in Jersey, Diana in Ohio. We got someone in Chicago. I'm actually coming to Chicago this weekend, so gonna come up there and hang out with the family. Tashiante. That's close. I may have got that. In Minneapolis, we got Josh in Memphis. We've got Adam in Michigan. I got someone else in Utah. Jen in Washington, D.C. Greg in Fort Lauderdale. Jason's here, new and learning. I've had to speak for work lots, but never have had any formal training. Cool. Glad you're here. So we have a lot of people like that, hey, I've dabbled with speaking. I've kicked the tires with speaking a little bit before, done a little of speaking here and there. I like speaking, would love to do more of it. No idea where to begin. No idea where to get started. So wherever you're at in your speaking journey, again, we're really glad and excited that you are here, that you are joining us. So again, go ahead and drop in the chat. Let me know who all is here. Let me know what your name is and where you're from, so we can say hey to you. And like I said, we're going to get rolling here just a couple minutes at the top of the hour. Now, in the meantime, I want you to be locked in. I want you to be focused and dialed in tonight, okay? What we're going to be covering can really have a significant impact in your life. So if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to get something to drink, I got something to drink here. I'll just tell you now, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. So we got a lot to cover in a short amount of time to do that. So whatever you need to do now, tell the kids to leave you alone, tell your spouse to leave you alone, whatever you need to do. I want you to be locked in, focused in, dialed in with what we're going to be covering tonight. All right. And we are indeed live. It is Tuesday, May the 7th, a couple minutes until top of the hour, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's going to make it, was like going to be 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Cardell in Greensboro, North Carolina, Dante in San Diego, Michael in Charlotte, North Carolina. Margaret is here. Tom in Cleveland is joining us. Greg have experience giving multiple speeches with Toastmasters. Awesome. Jory in Houston, Texas. Glad you are here. Someone was asking, is this going to be recorded? So yeah, we will send out a replay. Now I will tell you this, the replay is only available for a limited amount of time. And at the end of our time today, I'm going to be giving you an offer that is only available for this evening. All right. So only available while we are live here. So you're going to have to hang out for a few minutes to check that part out. All right. Who else do we have joining us here? Leo coming in hot from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Awesome. Yeah, we got people from literally all over the world. So again, really, really glad that you guys are hanging out with us, that you're joining us. Everybody having a good day? Feeling good? I'm feeling good. Everybody ready for Mother's Day? Mother's Day here in the U.S. this weekend. Excited about Mother's Day. Got to thank Mom. Appreciate those moms out there. We would not be here without them. All right. Let me check a couple other things here, make sure we are good. All right, people continuing to trickle in. Good. All right, now like I mentioned here, I'm going to rely heavily on the chat. So make sure that you stay active in the chat. Make sure that you keep up there. So talk to me in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. And like I said, we got a lot to cover here. So let's test it out. Are you guys ready? If you're ready, just type in the chat. I'm ready. Just type in the chat. I'm ready. Which, by the way, if you run into any technical issues at all, that happens from time to time. There's a button where you can refresh at the top for this webinar program, or you can just try refreshing your screen, and you should be good to go. All right, lots of people saying they're ready to go. We got Mark in Sydney, Australia. It's already tomorrow there, so I hope you're having a good Wednesday. You're in the future, living it up. All right, lots of you saying you're ready. So let's jump in. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to use this to guide our conversation and discussion. So let me flip over to that. All right, there you go. Talk to me in the chat once again. Let me know if you can see that all right. I want to make sure that you can see my screen. And like I said, we're going to use this to guide our conversation and discussion. So tonight, we're going to be talking all about how to get booked and paid to speak without having an existing platform and without being salesy. So again, whether you're a brand new speaker, you're just getting started, you're like, I have no idea what to do next. I don't know what I don't know. Or if you're a speaker who's been at this for months or years, and you're just trying to figure out how to continue to increase your bookings, then you have come to the right place, and we're definitely going to be able to help you out. So my goal here is to give you a step-by-step plan, a step-by-step system. I want by the end of our time today that you know exactly what your next steps are, that you're not wondering, you're not confused, you're not overwhelmed, that you know exactly what you want to do. And so at the end of our time, I'm going to actually ask you if you feel confident that you know what to do from here, okay? I want to really demystify this for you. So if you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed without being a celebrity or having a book deal or a big name or a huge platform or a crazy story or some tragedy that you've overcome, I want to put those fears to rest. All right. So I want to make sure that I walk you through exactly what you need to do. Now, also, if you haven't already, make sure that you check out our free Facebook group. So you can go to thespeakerlabgroup.com. Again, that is thespeakerlabgroup.com. We actually just crossed 12,000 speakers that are in there. So make sure that you check that out. I see John asking in the chat, is this legit live? What up, John? This is legit live. It is Tuesday, May the 7th. So greetings and salutations. Now, this is something we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So I want you to make sure that you check this out in the meantime. If you want to know how much you should charge, I want you to go to thespeakerlab.com/myfee. Thespeakerlab.com/myfee. So I get asked all the time, Grant, how much should I charge as a speaker? Well, it depends. And I'm going to give you some of those variables and factors in a little bit. But in the meantime, I want you to go to this website and answer a couple questions. It literally takes about 30 seconds to complete, and it's going to give you a number of what you should charge. And then again, we're going to come back and talk about that in a bit. We had someone just tell us recently, Grant, how do I send you a testimonial? I used this free speaker pricing tool out of desperation in February. I was just awarded a contract for easily double what I would have otherwise had the gumption to charge. Thank you. So yeah, just check it out. It's, again, totally free tool, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I want you to grab onto that for now. Now, I got a favor to ask of you. My favor is that you would be fully present. Okay. So like I said, I want you to turn off your phone, turn off Facebook, turn off your TV, lock yourself away, tell the kids to go away. So tell everybody to leave you alone for the next little bit here. All right. So we're gonna be here for about the next 75 minutes or so doing some training, and then afterwards we're going to maybe closer to 90 minutes. Actually, I got a lot to cover here, and then we're gonna do some live Q&A. So if you got other questions, then make sure that you stick around for that. So if you are locked in, if you are fully present, I want you to type in the chat "fully present." Just type that in the chat. Just type in "fully present." Now, here's a couple testimonials from some other people who have seen the some of the training that we're going to be covering here. Michelle said, "Thank you so much for that awesome webinar. I'm really pumped. I know I can be an awesome speaker." Joel said, "Very nice job on your webinar just now, Grant. Very nicely done. Engaging, informative, value-packed." Darren said, "Really enjoyed your webinar the other day. Thanks for taking the time to put that together. Learned a ton." Nina said, "Thanks, Grant. Even as someone in sales and marketing for almost 20 years, I gained informative, useful information on this webinar. Thanks for your time." So bottom line, what you need to know is you have come to the right place. Now, also, you want to stick around to the end. I've got some bonuses I'm going to hook you up with. So I'm going to give you a bonus on how to create a killer talk as a bonus training. Also, I'm going to give you a speaker website checklist plus 10 of the top speaker websites. So we're going to definitely talk about the importance of a speaker website, but I'm going to give you a checklist here that you can download that's going to give you top 10 speaker websites. And then also I'm going to give you a link to today's slide. So if you miss something, if you're like, whoa, can you go back? You're like, hey, you're talking fast. I get that. Like I said, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. So you can always go back and download these slides and review them in a little bit. So make sure that you stick around for that link. Now, let me know if this sounds like you. Did anything sound like you? Have you said anything like, I'm having trouble finding speaking engagements, or I don't know how to connect with decision makers. I'm not sure how much to charge. Am I good enough to be a speaker? Do I have the confidence to be on stage? What if I'm not an expert? Do I need some special qualifications to be a speaker? And can I actually do this? In fact, let me put up a poll for you here. How many of these are things that you have said or wondered before? How many of these are things that you have said or wondered before? Maybe none of these, a few of these, all of these. Some of you may just be like, yeah, that's 100% me right now. Let me know. Does any of these things sound like you? None of these, a few of these, all of the above. So if these things sound familiar, then I want you to know that you are in the right place. So on this training, we're going to be talking about the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is a 5-step process that we teach that's going to walk you through exactly how to find and book paid speaking gigs. We're going to talk about the 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. We're going to talk about the 7 speaking markets to choose from, the 3 secrets that you need to know that will give you massive confidence with finding speaking gigs, and the 10 ways to get paid beyond just speaking on stage. So we have a lot to cover here and a short amount of time to do it. So like I said, make sure that you buckle up and hang with us. Now, what makes this training different? Well, this is not based on theories. This is not based on like random ideas. This is based on real world results, actual results, not only for myself, but from the literally thousands of speakers that we've worked with. Now, at the end of our time, I'm going to make a special offer to actually help you more in terms of helping you book speaking gigs faster through our premium training program called Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, as you may have seen, we've actually recently done a complete revision, complete update to the program, to the training material. We've reshot all the training videos and updated all the course content. And so this is actually our grand opening, the grand reveal for this. And so I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. Again, I got a special offer. This is something we have never offered before. Okay. I'm not just saying that. That's not just hype. This is something that what I'm going to offer you tonight is something that we've never done before. We may not do again, most likely not do again, because it's a little time intensive for us. So make sure that you stick around for that. Now, I have a favor to ask of you though. Again, like I said, I'm going to tell you about Booked and Paid to Speak, and I don't want you to invest in it unless I fulfill my promise to you today. But if I deliver on my word, I want you to at least consider my special webinar only offer. Does that sound fair? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. If that sounds fair, just give me a yes in the chat. Here's from some of our students. Ryan said, shout out to Grant and the Speaker Lab team. I started the Speaker Lab course at the beginning of 2018, never having booked my own speaking engagements. Through what I learned in the course, I was able to book, look at this, over 30 speaking engagements during the year, about half paid. And during the last quarter, I averaged more than 1 a week, which is the max that I speak at on the side. Sue said, in the last month, I've been asked to speak in Norway, China, the Philippines, and part of 2 leadership conferences in Vegas. So excited to see things come together. Thank you, Grant. Terry said, just secured a keynote for 7,500 in July 2019. Thank you, Grant, for the BPS, the Booked and Paid to Speak system. And then this one we got recently said, finishing up my taxes, originally counted 134,000 in revenue, found another 19,000 when I recalculated. That's a good math there to find. So I came in at 153,000 last year. I can't thank you enough for your system and support. I know I couldn't have done it without BPS, Booked and Paid to Speak, and that is no exaggeration. Team BPS all the way. I think I can hit 200,000 this year with 23 gigs booked and 19 in the pipeline with more on the way. So again, I share that with you just so you get a sense of this is what is possible when you take and implement what we're going to show you today. Now, since we're going to be spending a few minutes together, let me give you a quick nutshell of how I got into speaking. Before we get there, let me quickly tell you about my family. Now, I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Oh, give me a little aw in the chat there. Isn't that precious? Now, you're going to like this. When we started dating in high school, I was a freshman and she was a junior. Oh, what's up now, huh? Come on now. Hashtag baller. Hashtag cougar. Isn't that precious? So today we have 3 beautiful girls. So it's me and a house full of women, which is awesome. I love it. It's like my own little Barbie dream house. It is the best. And so my career actually started as a youth pastor. I went to Bible college and then worked at a local church as a youth pastor. Parts of I liked, parts of I didn't like. But one of the things I really liked was speaking. And so I had a lot of opportunities to speak. I really enjoyed it, wanted to do more of it. And I just had no idea what to do from there. And here's kind of how I felt. I felt like I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. How many of you say that describes you right now? In fact, if that's you, just type in the chat, that's me. If you'd say that describes you right now, just type in the chat, that's me. You know you can do this. You know you have the potential. You know you love to speak. You know you have a message that you're just dying to share, but you just don't know where to start. You just don't know what you don't know. And that's exactly where I was at in the beginning. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had no idea what to do from there. And so one of the first things that I did was that I invested in my business. And so my wife and I, we were newly married. We had our first child on the way. And I actually, I borrowed some money from my dad, and I attended this youth speaker boot camp. As a former youth pastor, that's kind of how I got my start, was speaking a lot to students in the education industry. And then eventually was doing more with colleges, and then eventually doing more with corporations, with entrepreneur type of events today. And so I invested $999 to attend this training, which was just an astronomical amount of money at the time. But I knew that in order to get where I wanted to go, I needed to be willing to invest in myself, to invest with someone who was where I wanted to be so that they could show me the plan for how to build and grow my speaking business. And I'll show you in a second here how quickly I got a return on that investment. And so my very first paid speaking engagement, I attended that training a couple months later. I spoke at this gig, and I spoke for about 45 minutes to about 300, 400 students here. And so I got a question for you. I'm going to throw another poll up for you. How much do you think I was paid for that very first presentation? How much do you think I was paid for that very first presentation? Maybe nothing, $100, $500, $1,000, more than $1,000. Maybe they just patted me on the head. Maybe they gave me an attaboy. You ready for this? They paid me $1,000. $1,000 for this very first keynote. Now, I'm not going to lie, like that was just completely mind-boggling. And I've shared this before, and maybe you've heard this, but when they paid me $1,000, I remember taking that check and going out to the car in the parking lot. And I remember getting in the car and just honestly just like breaking down into tears and just feeling like this is what I want to do. They just paid me $1,000 to make a difference and to speak to this audience. How many of you, if you got paid $1,000, like that'd be a really good day for you, huh? Would that make a difference for you? Let me know. And so since then, we've gone on to speak at various conferences, various events, literally all over the world. We've had some amazing opportunities to speak to people and make an impact. And so I want to share this with you real quick. I want to share how learning to get booked and paid to speak changed my business. Since starting my speaking career, I've earned multiple 7 figures from speaking, had over 750 paid speaking engagements, over 1,000 live presentations, 46 U.S. states that I've spoken in, 500,000 people that I've spoken to live, 13,000 was the biggest audience that I keynoted an event for. And I've also sold over 30,000 physical copies of my self-published book. Now we're talking like an actual physical book, not like a PDF or anything like that. And then also recently we signed a 6-figure book deal for a speaking book that is going to be out in a little bit less than a year. It's going to be out in February 2020, which still feels like an eternity away. So get ready for that. So listen, I want you to understand this. Those numbers are nice, but to me, they represent more than numbers. They represent the lives that I've been able to impact, and even more than that, the impact that is made for my family and myself. So I want to share this with you. I want to share how learning to get booked and paid to speak changed my life. So today I don't have a day job. I get to do what I love with whom I love when I want. I get to travel and work from anywhere. I get to influence others, make a difference. I have options, time and money, freedom. Speaking has really made a significant impact in my family. One of the things that we love to do is we love travel, we love adventure, we love experiences. So we've been able to have some cool experiences traveling around and seeing some, amazing sights and seeing some amazing places literally around the US and around the world. And I love giving my daughters these life experiences because of speaking. One of the things that speaking has allowed us to do is actually last year we were able to build our dream home. And so this is from last year. We had a pool party welcoming into the neighborhood and hanging out with a bunch of neighborhood kids. So really, really cool. And so again, please don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying like, look at me, pat on the back, anything like that. I'm saying, what would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Now, that's not a rhetorical question. I want you to drop that in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Maybe it'd be to pay off debt. Maybe it'd be to quit your job. Maybe it'd be to travel. Maybe it'd be to build your dream house. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Again, just drop that in the chat. Let us know. Freedom, travel with family, quit your day job, change lives. Good. Keep them coming. What else would you want to do? More control over your schedule, time freedom, travel with husband, impact people, life adventures, make more money, travel more, change the world. Love it. Love all of those. Build for retirement, travel, pay off debts, share heart's desire, travel, financial freedom. Love it, love it, love it. All of the above. Very good. So what if this was you? Why can't that be you? Why shouldn't that be you? That should be you up there on stage. Your message is worth sharing. Your message is worth sharing. So I'm convinced anybody can copy what I'm doing once they understand it. And you won't have to do it the hard way. You get to take the shortcut. So if you're ready to start this journey, just type in the chat, I'm ready. Type in the chat, I'm ready. Type in, let's do this. Type in, buckle up. Throw something in there so I know that you're alive and well. And for those of you who are still asking in the chat, yeah, we're still live, still Tuesday, still May the 7th. I get it. I understand. But yes, indeed, we are live. All right. So first of all, let's talk about 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. Okay. First myth is this. Number 1 is that you have to be a world-renowned speaker a world-renowned expert or have a tragic story that you've overcome to be a speaker. Listen, this is not true. Myth number 2 is that you have to be a celebrity or have an existing platform to be a speaker. This is also not true. Number 3 is that you have to be super salesy to get speaking engagements. Here's the reality. None of these myths are true. That's why they're called myths. So let's talk about what is true. So to do that, we're going to walk through what we call the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is a 5-step process that we teach of exactly how to find and book speaking gigs. So it's going to make this SPEAK acronym, SPEAK. So the S is for select a problem to solve. We're going to spend some time on that right out of the gate. And then we're going to talk about the P, the preparing your talk. We're not going to dig into this much tonight, but we'll touch on it briefly. The E is for establishing yourself as the expert. We're going to talk about your website, your demo video, the importance of those. We're going to talk about A, acquiring paid speaking gigs. Now I know oftentimes people are like, hey, let's just get to the A. I want to book paid speaking gigs. But I want you to understand, you got to have these 3 pieces in place before you get to that. Okay. And it's going to make sense as we go. And then the K is know when to scale. This creates the 5-step speaker success roadmap. So this is the roadmap that we are going to follow for our training this evening. Cool? So let's talk about the 3 secrets of being a speaker. All right, 3 secrets of being a speaker. Secret number 1 is that you don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. You don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. I want to introduce you to my friend Josh. Now, when I got started speaking, I met Josh at an event. We've spoken at a couple of events together. Josh has become a good friend, and Josh has an amazing story. Josh had cancer as a child and ended up having a leg amputated, and went on to become a one-legged downhill skier in the Paralympics. So look at that, one-legged downhill skier in the Paralympics. And so he tells me that, and I'm just like, I can't compete with that. Like, I'm a normal dude from the Midwest who's had a pretty normal average life. Like, what about you? Have you had any of these things happen to you? Have you conquered cancer, or climbed Mount Everest, or built a multi-million-dollar startup, or cured a disease, won a Nobel Peace Prize, competed in the Olympics, had a near-death experience? Listen, even if you haven't accomplished or experienced any of these things, you can still get booked and paid to speak. But in order to do that, the first part is the S. You have to select a problem to solve. You have to select a problem to solve. Now, to talk about this, I want to tell you a story. This is my oldest daughter, Sydney. Now, this is Sydney running a lemonade stand a few years ago. How many of you ever had a lemonade stand as a kid? If so, just type in lemonade in the chat. Type in lemonade if you ever ran a lemonade stand as a kid. And building a business as a speaker is very much like having a lemonade stand. There's a variety of factors that determine how successful a lemonade stand will be, but there's one factor that stands out above the rest. One factor that stands out above the rest. Do you have any guesses on what it is? Any guesses on what it is? Ponder that, and I'll tell you in a second. Let me tell you another story. When my wife and I first got married, we were very entrepreneurial. We were always looking for some ways to earn some extra bucks, right? To experience freedom, to pay off our student loans, that kind of stuff. And so one of the first businesses that we ever had together was a vending business. So we bought several of these type of quarter machines. We got them placed in various businesses all around our city. And so every week or two, we would go around, we'd fill up the machines. But the best part was opening the back of the machine and collecting the quarters, all right? So sometimes we would open the back and we'd find just a few quarters. And sometimes we would open the back, we would find a ton of quarters, which is always much more enjoyable. And so eventually, actually, we decided to upgrade. We got into running a route with with several full-size snack and drink vending machines. And so we would go and buy these like huge quantities of snacks. We would go load them up in the machines. And as you can see here in the picture, it's very much a family business. So side note, we kept all of the snacks in our garage. So like, if you can imagine, you've got a ton of vending machine snacks in your garage all day, every day. It became a feeding frenzy for our family. And so just like the quarter machine, every few days we'd go to the machine to refill it and collect the money. And in some machines, we would collect a few dollars, and in other machines, we would collect massive stacks of ones, which was naturally much more fun. So I'm curious, which would you prefer, A or B here? Which would you prefer? I'm assuming if you're like most people, you would prefer the big stack of $1 bills and the large amount of quarters, right? And so what made the difference? What makes a lemonade stand make a lot of money versus a little money? And what makes a vending machine collect a lot of dollar bills or a lot of quarters versus just a few? What makes the difference between a successful lemonade stand or a successful vending machine? Just type in the chat. Let me know what you think. The difference is the location. You have to go where the people are. Go where the people are, where the lemonade stand was located, where the vending machine was located. If you were in a busy location and there was no foot traffic where your machine was located, it would not matter. The best thing you can do is to make sure that you are in the right location. And so you may have heard this before, that one of the most important factors in real estate is what? Is location, location, location. And so this is important. Your positioning as a speaker can be the difference between a few quarters and a few dollars versus a huge stack of dollar bills. And so in order to do this, in order to be positioned properly, this comes back to the S, to select a problem to solve. So how do you identify a problem that you could speak on? Well, we're going to talk about the topic trifecta. So this is three factors that you need to consider when choosing who you speak to and what you speak about. The first one is going to be your industry. So basically, who is it that you want to speak to? Who is it that you want to speak to? Now, there are 7 common speaking industries, and within this, there's a bunch of niches and kind of some subsets that you can consider. But there's 7 primary speaking industries. You have corporations, associations, faith and churches, nonprofits, government and military, colleges and universities, and education, K through 12. Okay, so I'm curious, which of these most resonates with you? Which of these would you most be interested in speaking to? Just give me a 1 through 7 number there. And it's important that you pick one. Okay, one, maybe two, but not like, I'm going to speak to all of them. I'm going to put 1 through 7. Don't do that. Pick just one number, drop in the chat of who you would like to speak to, who you'd like to focus on. Now, it's important to note here, there's no right or wrong answer here. Okay, the answer is going to be different for everyone, but you have to decide who it is that you want to speak to. You can't speak to everyone. If you think you can speak to anyone, you really can speak to no one. So if someone asks you, hey, who do you speak to? And you say, I speak to people, I speak to humans. Okay, that's the wrong answer. You have to be really, really clear about who it is that you speak to. So the first factor is going to be your industry. The second one is going to be interest. Interest. And what I mean by that is, what do you want to speak about? What is it that you want to speak about? In fact, drop that in the chat for me. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. What is it that you want to speak about? What is it that you want to speak about? So assuming you were put in front of your perfect audience to talk about any subject, what would you speak on? What would you speak on? And again, you can't just say, I want to speak about anything and everything, okay? It'd be like this. Imagine going to a restaurant. If you and I went to a restaurant, we sat down for lunch, and the waiter walks up and asks us what we'd like to eat, we'd probably be like, I'd love to see a menu. And they say, well, actually, we don't have menus here. We can cook anything and everything that you want. Well, we're going to be like, yeah, that's probably not true, and that's not accurate. There's going to be some things they can cook, some things that they can't cook. And so you want to know from the restaurant, what is it that you can prepare? And the same thing is true as a speaker. You don't want to say like, what do you want me to speak about? I can speak about anything. Don't do that. You have to be really clear about what is the problem that you could speak about. So if you think if you think you can speak about anything, you really can speak about nothing. You have to be clear about what is the problem that you solve. Now, also understand this, is that interest is a two-way street. Interest is a two-way street. And what I mean by that is, just because you are passionate about a topic doesn't mean anyone else cares. If you say, Grant, I am deeply passionate about speaking to people in third world countries about how to knit scarves for underprivileged children and kittens, like, that's great, but there's probably not a lot of speaking opportunities that exist for that. So you have to be clear about what it is that you're passionate about, but you also have to make sure that there is an interest, and that is a topic and an industry that actually books speakers. If not, you're going to have a very difficult time as a speaker. Like I said, this is where you have to be in the correct location. So does your industry or audience actually care about the topic? Just because you care about it doesn't necessarily mean that the audience cares about it. So you have industry, interest, and the third piece is integrity. Integrity. Are you qualified to talk about this subject? Are you qualified to talk about this subject? Now, this raises the question, what if I'm not an expert? What if I'm not an expert? I totally understand that, totally get that. Let me give an example. I am clueless whenever it comes to cars. Totally clueless when it comes to cars. What about you? If you're clueless with cars, just type in the chat clueless. Just type in the chat clueless. I know nothing about cars. So when I take my car to the local mechanic to have the oil changed, whoever's working on my car, to me, that person is the expert. Why? Because they know more about cars than I do. Does that mean that they're the world's greatest expert on cars? No, I know that. They know that. But remember, I'm not looking for the world's greatest expert. I'm looking to this one person who knows more about cars than I do. This person knows more about cars than I'll ever know in my entire lifetime. Okay, so to me, that person is the expert. You don't have to be the best in the world at something to be considered an expert. You only need to know slightly more than the audience. So you have industry, interest, and integrity. Industry, interest, and integrity. Now, let's go back to this for a second here. What made the difference? What made the difference? The difference is this. The more focused, the right location made all of the difference. The location made the difference. So you, as a speaker, the positioning has to be right, of who you speak to, what's the problem that you speak about, and making sure that you are smack in the middle, correct? Now, without all these pieces, what happens is this, is if you have the industry and the interest, but you don't have the integrity, meaning you're not qualified to talk about it, you would be what we'd call a bogus speaker. If you have the interest plus the integrity, but you don't have the industry, meaning nobody cares about the topic, nobody's hiring speakers to talk about the topic, you'd be what we'd call a broke speaker. And if you have the integrity plus the industry, but you don't have the interest, meaning you don't care about it and other people don't care about it, you would be what we'd call a bored speaker. You have to have all three pieces in place. Now, I know this can be a little complicated, so let me break it down this way. How many of you have ever played disc golf or frisbee golf before? If so, just type in the chat golf. If you've ever played disc golf or frisbee golf, just type in the chat golf. Now, I've played regular golf several times. I enjoy flinging a frisbee around. So I'd always been intrigued by disc golf. And so I'd talked with a few friends and who had played a bunch. And I finally went to get some disc, and I was like, all right, let's give this a shot. Now, if you're not familiar with disc golf, it's not complicated. The concept is the same as regular golf. There's a basket like the one on the right there. And usually it's a few hundred yards away. And your goal is to get the disc into the basket in as few shots as possible. So I went a few times to try this, was slowly getting the hang of it. And then once I went with a friend who had played a lot more than I had and knew what he was doing. And he taught me a really simple idea whenever it comes to aiming. And so he taught me this. He explained a lot of people do one of two things when aiming. He said they either aim for all of the chains. They aim for all of the chains and they hope they get somewhere in the vicinity of where they want to end up. He said, though, that some people will actually aim at the basket. But he said the best disc golf players in the world, they do something different. They don't aim at the basket. They don't aim at the chains. They aim at one individual link in the chains. He said that by aiming small, even if you're off just slightly, you're much more likely to still make it in the basket. And the same thing is true for speaking. The more specific and narrow you are while being positioned properly, the easier it is to find gigs. The easier it is to find gigs. Now, although it may feel counterintuitive, when you get this, again, like I said, it actually becomes easier to find and book gigs. Okay, let me give you another example. So think of it like this. Let's talk about some doctors. I went to a website for a local medical group, and I found a page that had a bunch of doctors on it. And so underneath each picture, you can see there is the specialty of what it is that they focus on. But at the end of the day, they're also doctors, right? So it really shouldn't make a difference who I go to for anything, right? Watch this. So who would you go to if you needed surgery? If you needed surgery, who would you go to? You'd probably go to one of these four doctors because they specialize in surgery. What about if you had a sore throat? Who'd you go to? You probably go to one of these doctors because they specialize in what? In family medicine. That's what they do. What about if you had a brain issue? Okay. Heaven forbid, God forbid, you had a brain issue, you'd probably go to this doctor. Why? Because she focuses on neurology, but they're all doctors. Like, why couldn't you just go to any of them for anything? Okay. The same thing is true for speakers. Let me show you some examples of some speakers that we've worked with. Okay, here's John Crowley. John, he teaches on the topic of sales, which really could appeal to any business of any size, but he focused specifically on sales in the medical and pharmaceutical industry. Or take Sue Ettinger, for example. So Sue speaks about treating cancer in pets. It's an extremely niche and specific topic, but she's been very successful in her speaking career because she's more focused and thus better positioned. Or let me give you another example of a speaker, Marty Wolf, that we've worked with. Several years ago, Marty was actually a contestant on the show The Biggest Loser. And in that time, he lost over 100 pounds, which is crazy. So he could speak about weight loss or exercise or healthy eating or any of these things, but he speaks specifically to the healthcare industry about working with obese people. So let's come back to what we talked about at the beginning here. Most people fail because they're not clear on these three areas. They try to speak to anybody and everybody. They try to go as wide as possible. And the truth is, the more narrow, the more focused you are, the more clear you are on this, everything else after this becomes much, much simpler. Are you with me? If you're with me, just type in the chat. I'm with you. Talk to me in the chat. Does this make sense? If you don't get anything else out of what we're talking about tonight, I want you to make sure you get this, because if you get this, it makes all of the difference. You have to be clear. You have to be positioned properly. Now, if you're like, okay, Grant, I have some ideas of what I could speak about. I have some ideas of what problem I could solve. I have some ideas of who I might speak to, but I don't know if that's the perfect fit. I don't know if I'm going to be in the position properly. Okay, this is something we can absolutely help you with inside Booked and Paid to Speak. We will help you get clear through coaching of exactly how to find and book paid speaking gigs and how to be positioned properly so that you can find and book those paid gigs. Cool? Now let's keep cruising on. So we go from S to the P. P is prepare your talk. prepare your talk. Now, this is actually, we have a totally separate training program called The Art of Speaking, where we walk through how to create and deliver great talks. And so if that's something you're interested in, definitely check that out. We also have a new YouTube channel we'd encourage you to check out over at youtube.com/The Speaker Lab, where every single week we are doing speech breakdowns from popular speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk and Brene Brown and Tony Robbins. So make sure that you check that out again over at youtube.com/The Speaker Lab. So for the sake of time, we're not going to spend any time talking about preparing your talk. We're going to keep cruising on here on to the next speaker secret. Speaker secret number 2. If you're ready, just type in the chat, I'm ready. If you're ready, just type in the chat, I'm ready. Are we scratching where you're itching? Is this making sense? You're starting to feel some clarity? Okay. Speaker secret number 2 is that you can start booking and getting paid for speaking engagements without, look at this, an existing brand, a best-selling book, a blog, a podcast, social media following, name recognition, or online presence. Listen, you don't need these things in order to book paid speaking gigs, okay? But what you need to do is that you have to establish yourself as the expert. So you need to be able to clearly tell and show potential clients, 1, who you are, 2, what problem that you solve, 3, who you solve that problem for, and 4, how you can solve that problem for them. So again, who you are, what problem you solve, who you solve that problem for, and how you can solve that problem for them. So I want you to think of it this way. Think about this like your product packaging. Like whenever you go to the grocery store, there's so many different types of products and packaging options, and all of them are just trying to get your attention. So think about it like when you walk down the ice cream aisle. I love ice cream. Do you love ice cream? If you love ice cream, just type in the chat, I love ice cream. Just type in the chat, ice cream. Love ice cream. What's your favorite flavor? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. I love ice cream. Now, there are so many different types of ice cream, and the reality is that most of them are offering pretty much the same flavor. So like, let's take vanilla ice cream, for example. Pretty much every company that sells ice cream will offer some form of vanilla. So on one end of the spectrum, you have something like Ben & Jerry's, right? Very nice, very fancy, kind of high-end type of ice cream. In the middle, you may have a generic category. You've got like Great Value or some type of store brand. And then on the end, you've got this. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what to call this. Now, if you look at these 3 options, they are each vanilla ice cream, but we all know that the pricing and the perceived value on each of these is vastly different. True? So talk to me in the chat. Which of these would you prefer? Which of these would you prefer? I see Thomas saying you love chocolates. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love sprinkles. I love sprinkles. Sprinkles are so good, and I don't understand why. Like, there's no flavor in them. My daughters and I, we love like a ridiculous, like an uncomfortable amount of sprinkles. That's how much sprinkles I want. Crazy. All right, so which would you prefer here? A lot of you saying Ben & Jerry's. A lot of you saying number 1, okay? But why? Why would you prefer? Like, they all provide vanilla ice cream, so what's the difference? What's the difference between these 3? Talk to me in the chat. What's the difference between the 3? Why is it that most people are not interested in this option? Why is it most people are not interested in this? Well, let's talk about it. Why are most people not interested in this? Well, there's not enough information about the product. I don't really understand exactly what it is. It doesn't really seem high quality, does it? And I'm not really sure what's inside the package. It just seems borderline sketchy. And so why I'm saying this is that packaging for products and packaging for speakers matters. Packaging for products and packaging for speakers matters. So what's the packaging? What's the marketing assets that a speaker needs? You need 2 tools. You need a website and a demo video. A website and a demo video. Okay. So let's talk about website for a second. First of all, you have to have one. You have to have one. If you don't have a website, you don't exist. You have to have a website. I recommend that you use your name as the domain. Use your name as the domain. One of the unique things about being a speaker is that you are the product. You are the brand. People aren't buying some random company. They're buying you. They're investing in you. And I also recommend that you put yourself in the position of the client. Put yourself in the position of the client. Like, what would you want to see on a speaker's website that would give you comfort and confidence in booking them. So remember, you have to position yourself as the go-to authority. Now, actually, I have grantbaldwin.com, and I actually purchased it from another guy named Grant Baldwin, which I also purchased the domain names for my wife and all three of my daughters. And now I'm just squatting on those until they need them someday, and then I'm going to sell it back to them at a exorbitant price. So I'm pretty excited about that. So first of all, you have to have a website. Now, like I said, don't forget to stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a free download of your speaker website checklist plus 10 of my favorite speaker websites. So make sure that you stick around for that. Now, also, as some of you may know, we have a WordPress website theme. If you're like, man, I know I need a website, no idea how to create it, we actually have a WordPress website theme that's going to make it super simple for you to create your speaker website. All right, so we actually offer this on our website that you can check out. But if you stick around to the end, then I'm going to give you an offer where you may be able to get this for free. So make sure that you stick around for that. All right, let's talk about your demo video. Your demo video may be the most important part of your website, maybe the most important part of your website. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you like going to the movies? How many of you like going to the movies? My wife and I, we love going to movies. And like many people, one of your favorite parts of the movies is what? One of the favorite parts, besides the popcorn, besides all the candy, what's one of your favorite? How many of you smuggle candy in? We still smuggle candy in. What's one of your favorite parts? The previews, right? Even though all the trailers are on YouTube now, and it wouldn't be hard to find them, there's still something fun. There's still something magical about watching the previews in a movie theater. So let me ask you this. What is the point of a theater showing you all of those previews? The point is obviously to get you excited, make you want to see more, right? But why do they need a video to do that? Like, why couldn't they just have text paragraph on the screen explaining what the movie about? Why couldn't they just have a movie worker come down in the front and say, hey, I want to tell you about a new cool movie that's coming out in a few weeks. I think you guys might like, and then he just explains it for 2 or 3 minutes. That would never work. It's not nearly as effective as people being able to preview and see the preview themselves, right? And so the same thing is true with a demo video. Your demo video lets buyers preview the product before buying. Your demo video lets buyers preview the product before buying. Like, sure, you could describe in text form what your talk is about. You could describe what style of communicator you are. But isn't it more effective and powerful to let the potential client actually see it? Now, don't be alarmed here. Like, your website, your demo video, they don't need to be some movie trailer quality, okay? One of the things you'll hear us say a lot is to work with what you've got and improve as you go. Do it with excellence, but improve as you go. Like, I've personally, I've been through about 4 or 5 iterations of websites, about 6 or 7 different demo videos, and we've improved as we have gone along. So why is a good website? Why is a good video important? Why do these things matter? Because buyers equate packaging with value. Buyers equate packaging with value. Like, whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, people judge books by their covers. It's true. We all do it. So let's go back to this, for example. Which costs the most? Which costs the most? A, B, or C? Which costs the least? What do you think? We all assume that Ben & Jerry's cost the most. So why do we assume that Ben & Jerry's cost the most? In part because of the packaging. The packaging is part of what makes the difference. So even if you haven't tasted any of these, the packaging helps people to determine value. Now, like I mentioned again, you want to work with what you've got and improve as you go. Work with what you've got and improve as you go. This is a screenshot from my very first demo video. As you can see, it's very dark. The audio is bad. The acoustics are bad. The lighting is bad. Like, it was not a good setup. I borrowed a little handy cam from a friend. I put it in the side of the room, and it was not great, but it worked. That's what I had in the beginning. So again, work with what you've got and improve as you go. One of our students, Jeremy, said, I completed my video and website, then found out Friday I'll be the opening speaker for a local conference on innovation and entrepreneurships. Loving the BPS materials. Jake said, hey, everyone, thanks for your review for my demo video, Melanie. I've edited it, taking all your recommendations into consideration. It's 100 times better. Thank you. So again, one of the things that we do inside of the training is we show you exactly what should go in your demo video, exactly how to create the demo video. We actually show you a behind the scenes look at how to create your demo video using just 2 iPhones. That's it. No fancy setup, 2 iPhones in an empty room. So we give you a behind the scenes look of exactly how to do that. Plus, inside of our private community, we do a lot of reviews of websites and demo videos and show you what works and what doesn't work. So just because you have a website and a video doesn't mean anyone cares. Doesn't mean anyone cares at all. Just like you may be excited. Your mom is thrilled. She's going to tell both of her friends, but that doesn't mean anybody else cares. Like the mistake that a lot of speakers make is I got my website, I got my demo video, and now I just sit back and I wait for the phone to ring. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. I'm clear on my positioning. I know who I want to speak to. I know what I want to speak about. I got my website. I got my video in place. I'm so excited. I got everything up. And then I just wait and I wait and I wait. And we keep waiting for someone to call or someone to contact or someone to magically find us. And I want you to know this, that waiting and wishing is not a strategy. Waiting and wishing is not a strategy. So what do you do at this point? You got your website. You got your demo video. What do you do from here? This gets to the acquire paid speaking gigs. Now, before we get to that point, let me check back in. How's everybody doing? Yes, guest, we're live, still live. It's 7:44 Central Time, at least. Still live, still here. Calm down, Trigger. All right, so acquire paid speaking gigs. Now, everybody doing good? Feeling good? Are you feeling confident? You got any questions so far? Man, I'm hungry for ice cream. Me too. I love ice cream. I love sprinkles. Does anybody else love sprinkles as much? If so, just type in sprinkles. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I just love sprinkles, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I have a bad sweet tooth. It's not good. All right. Speaker secret number 3. No to the sprinkles, Ashley. What is? No, sprinkles are good. Yes, sprinkles. You are my people. Sprinkles could be overrated. I like them, but I'm not going to disagree with they could be overrated, Pete. You're wise on them. Okay, number 3. Getting bookings is not about being salesy. Getting bookings is not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Remember, what do you got to do? You want to go where the people are. Go to where the people are instead of waiting for the people to come to you. I'll tell you a story. When I was in high school, some of the best days in school were snow days, right? Everyone got out of school, still the highlight of life for children everywhere. How many of you remember snow days? Weren't snow days the best? Snow days were the best, right? And so one of the highlights of a snow day for me was not just that we got out of school, but because I was a young entrepreneur, I knew it was an opportunity to make some money shoveling driveways. And so I remember one day, me and a buddy went out. We went to a nice neighborhood. We walked around for all day, just shoveling driveways. And we made $300 from shoveling driveways, which as a teenager, like a teenage dude, that was just like $1 billion, just an insane amount of money. But I want you to understand why this worked and how we were able to make some money from shoveling. The main thing that we did is that we would go where there was a need. They had a driveway covered in snow. We could make that problem disappear. So if we went to people's houses in summer when it was 100 degrees out, there was no snow to be found, they would not be interested. The other thing that we did that worked really well is that we didn't wait for people to find us. Like surely we could have announced it on Facebook, or I guess it would have been like, I don't know, MySpace or something back then, that we were available to shovel driveways, and we could have just sat back and hoped people would find us. But that would probably lead to the same problem that speakers face. Like we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So instead, what did we do? We went door to door, just asking people if we could solve the problem that was in their driveway. And you know what? Most people said yes. Most people said, sure, absolutely. Wow, we have a problem in our driveway. You can make that disappear. Let's make it happen. So how does this relate to speaking? Well, the best potential clients are those who already book speakers. The best potential clients are those who already book speakers. The best places to start are conferences, association events, and other groups that are already looking for speakers. Best places to start are conferences, association events, other groups already looking for a speaker. You don't have to convince them to hire a speaker. They're already planning on hiring a speaker. I'll give you an example here, okay? Let's take knitting as an example. This is something I've shared before. Let me give you another example in a second. Let's take knitting conference or knitting association, knitting event. You could search for knitting event by state or region or province or territory. You could look up other speakers who talk about that. So I did this. I plugged in knitting conference into the Google machine. And we found thousands of events around the topic of knitting conference. We have Knitters Review. We have this Knitting Universe, Stitches United 2019. We have Vogue Knitting Live. We have this fall knitting retreat. We have this knitting events calendar. Like all of these, again, this is just the first couple of results here in terms of like thousands of potential events on the subject of knitting. So here's a question for you. Do you think that these organizations or groups are looking for speakers to talk about knitting? Let me know in the chat. Do you think if you were a speaker who spoke on the topic of knitting, that you could provide a solution to this problem? Of course you could, right? They are looking for speakers to talk about this, and you're providing a solution to that. Here's another one, okay? Here's another one. Tennessee Realtors Conference, right? So like I mentioned, you could search for this on more of a state or regional or local level. So instead of just searching for a realtors conference, what if you put in your state or other states that are nearby or within close driving distance? So I live in Nashville, so I plugged in Tennessee Realtors Conference. We found the Tennessee Realtors State Conferences, the Fall Convention, Meetings and Events, the 2018 Spring Conference, the 2019 Fall Convention, like all of these around the topic of Tennessee Realtors Conference. Again, this is just, there's 1.1 million results, right? So all of these are driveways that are covered with snow that are looking for someone to come shovel their driveway. And you have the opportunity to go provide a solution to the problem. Now, once you find opportunities, you want to contact the decision maker and have a system to strategically follow up. Have a system to strategically follow up. This is where a lot of speakers make the mistake. They just, again, we sit back, we wait for the phone to ring, we don't do anything, and we wait for people to find up. This is where speakers drop the ball. So maybe like you have your website, maybe you have your video, maybe you even knock on a couple of doors of potential conferences, but that's it. Part of your goal as a speaker is to stay top of mind with potential clients. And to do that, you have to have a system. Now, email is the most effective starting point for communication. Email is the most effective starting point. But you want to remember that this is a relationship business. Do not try to seal the deal on the first date. Do not try to do that. Okay, you're trying to build a relationship, to have a long-term perspective with this. So one of the things that we put together, this is something that we offer inside of our Booked and Paid to Speak training program, is this is a follow-up flowchart, So as you can see here, you basically just start at the top and you work your way through the flowchart. You contact a potential client, and based on what they say, then it tells you what to do. Did they reply? Did they not reply? Now what do I say? They did reply. What did they ask? Okay, now do I send another email? What do I say in that email? Do I call them? What do I say on the call? So it's just like it removes the guesswork. All right. In addition to this, is we have 20 pages. We've gone through, we've updated all of our email scripts and swipe file. We've gone through all of this and updated all of our emails. We have 20 pages of email templates that you can use. 20 pages of email templates. So again, talk to me in the chat. If we gave you this follow-up flowchart and 20 pages of email scripts of what to say in every possible situation, would that be beneficial? Would that be helpful? Just let me know in the chat. Like I said, these are things that we include inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Justin said, if you're looking for an effective way to connect with meeting planners, get booked, use Grant's proven email system. Following his advice, I contacted one meeting planner. 2 days later, I was booked to speak at their statewide leadership conference. Again, just following the email scripts that we provide. Andrew said this. He said, emailed 38 inquiries since beginning, booked 2 engagements, which will pay $2,000 per event, which if my math is correct, that's a total of how much? $4,000, right? Paid for my BPS investment, way more than paid for his BPS investment. First 2 gigs using the system, just an inquiry with my website listed at the signature. Simply ask if and when they book presenters, if I could assist in that process in any way by being the speaker or helping them find the right person. Look at that. Follow the scripts. Found $4,000 worth of bookings. Glenn said, I had my first email inquiry about one of my talks. It's the first time someone has expected to spend money to have me speak for an event. The power of contacting your alumnus university is working. Is this where I cry? Thanks all. So again, what would this make possible for you? Okay. If you had this, could you find and book gigs? Would that make a difference for you? Right. So again, Google is the quickest way to find opportunities. But inside Booked and Paid to Speak, we actually give you 8 more strategies for finding engagement. Now Google is the quickest, the simplest. You could take that right now as an exercise and go out and find gigs. But but we dig into several other ways as well. All right, show me the money. In fact, type that in the chat. Type in "show me the money." Can you name this movie? One of the best sports movies. Now, you can get paid on your first speaking engagement. You can get paid on your first speaking engagement. Okay. But there's a couple factors that go into how much you should charge. Again, this is a question we get a lot. How much should you charge? Well, it depends on your market. You can charge more in some markets versus others. You can charge more speaking to corporations versus nonprofits. You can charge more speaking to colleges versus high schools. Okay. So it depends on what market you're speaking to. It depends on your experience. If you're a brand new speaker just getting started, you typically won't be able to charge as much as someone who's been at it for a long time, right? And finally is marketing materials. Okay, like we talked about earlier, your demo video, your website, they need to look sharp. Now, does that mean you need to have spent tens of thousands of dollars on them? No, absolutely not. But they need to look sharp. You do not want to look like the generic vanilla ice cream. Don't be that speaker, okay? You need to look sharp. You need to look professional. Now, let's talk about speaker fee ranges. Okay, it really does depend. If you're in the education, college new speaker, if you're a brand new up and coming association or corporation speaker, it's usually going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. This is also for churches. Now, churches can oftentimes be a little bit on the lower end, so on the low end of this, range. Up and coming corporate speakers, usually anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Professional corporate speakers, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. Best-selling authors, athletes, B-list celebrities, $20,000 to $50,000. Celebrity speakers can go from $50,000 way, even up into six figures and multiple six figures. It can be crazy, all right? So it really does depend. Okay. Now, again, if you want to know how much you should charge, okay, there's a lot of variables that go into you versus any other speaker, then definitely go by and check out thespeakerlab.com/myfee. And like I said, we're going to come back to this here in just a few minutes and talk more about this. So if you haven't already, make sure you go by and you check that out, thespeakerlab.com/myfee. All right, let's get to the K part. Know when to scale. Now, again, the primary purpose of tonight is talking more on how do you find and book gigs. So we're not going to dig into this much tonight, but I know for some of you, you're interested in, hey, I'm booking some gigs and I want to know how do I continue to build my business beyond just speaking. I want you to know that generating revenue and impact as a speaker isn't limited to just speaking from stage. So you can get paid to be on a speaking fee in a bunch of ways. So having a book, a curriculum, product, coaching, consulting, webinars, online training course, train the trainer, advertisement, sponsorships, referrals, all 10 of these are different ways that you can get paid beyond just speaking on stage. So I'm curious, if you wanted to build your business beyond just speaking, which of these 10 most appeals to you? Just give me a 1 through 10 in the chat. Just give me a 1 through 10 in the chat. Which of these most appeals to you? Which of these most appeals to you? Now let's recap where we're at here. So number 1 is to identify a problem that you could speak on. This is, again, the industry, the interest, the integrity. Number 2 is position yourself as the expert. Again, this is where we create the website and the demo video. Number 3 is identify existing events that book speakers. Number 4, contact decision makers. Number 5, build, grow, scale your speaking empire. Now, again, like I said, you can take everything we've shown you tonight and you can use that to go find and book paid speaking gigs. Okay, you can take everything we've shown you, but again, you may run into some challenges. Now, let me ask you a couple questions here. How many of you feel like this right now? Like I said, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. It's going to feel like drinking from a fire hose. How many of you say that this describes you? In fact, if that describes you, just type in the chat. That's me. Just type in the chat. That's me. Now, I mentioned to you at the beginning, I had some free bonuses for you. So let me give those to you. You can go to thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. That's going to be the how to create a killer talk bonus training, and then your speaker website checklist, 10 of my favorite speaker sites, and then today's slides. So again, speakerlab.com/BPS download. All right, got a question for you. Has this been worth your time so far? Has this been worth your time so far? Let me ask you this. What's been your light bulb moment so far? What's been your light bulb moment so far? What's been your light bulb? What is something where you're like, I had no idea. I didn't know that. That makes sense now. That clicked. I had this like aha moment. What's been your light bulb moment so far? Talk to me in the chat. Let me know what's been your light bulb moment so far. Let me ask you this. Can you do this? Can you do this? Okay, this is important to me. I told you this an hour ago when we got started. I want you to have the know-how of exactly what you should be doing to find and book gigs, but I want you to have the confidence that you can do this. You don't have to be anything special. You don't have to have some crazy story. You don't have to have a big name. You don't have to have a best-selling book. You can absolutely do this. Can you do this? Absolutely, right? Now, we've covered a lot, but there's still so much left to learn. We haven't talked about how do you prepare that memorable message that resonates. We haven't talked about presentation skills, when you should and shouldn't use technology, how to network with other speakers, or what to do after you get booked. Like travel, who pays for that? Do I pay for that? Do they pay for that? How does that work? We haven't talked about how to transition into being a full-time speaker, which I know several of you are interested in. We haven't talked about creating and selling product or working with speaker bureaus or any of those things. Like there's so many things we haven't even had a chance to touch on. And so if you liked what I gave you for free today, you're going to love the rest of the training. Again, this is why we created, why we updated, why we improved, booked and paid to speak. This is why we created this. So I'd like to get your permission. Is it okay if I just share with you a couple minutes about booked and paid to speak? I'll go over this very special offer we've created to help you book gigs faster. And then, like I said, we're going to do some more Q&A. Is that cool? Sound good? You guys good with that? Okay, I'll give you the nutshell here. So, and like I said, what I'm going to offer you tonight, we've never offered before. We're never offering again. That's not hype. We've done a lot of webinars, okay? And we do business with integrity. So when I tell you we've never offered this, we're never going to offer it again. I'm not making that up, okay? So booked and paid to speak is a complete A to Z blueprint for creating a system in your speaking business that gets you booked. We've given you the high level system, okay? You can take everything we've shown you, but again, there's a lot we haven't even got into. Here's what you're going to get. We're going to get a brand new step-by-step video training program where, again, we're going to walk you through exactly how to find and book paid speaking gigs, okay? So what exactly will I learn? Well, again, we're going to walk through the speaker's success roadmap, the 5-step process, everything we covered here. I gave you the high-level view, but inside the course, we're going to show you how to do it. How do you select a problem to solve, okay? We're going to help you with that. We're going to help you understand how to prepare your talk, to establish yourself as the expert, website, demo video, all of that we're going to help you with. We're going to go in depth on acquiring paid speaking gigs. I'm going to give you a bunch of over-shoulder videos, screen share videos that I show you of exactly how to find gigs, and then helping you know when to scale. So what exactly will I learn from Booked and Paid to Speak? We're going to help you get clear on which industry you should speak to, on knowing which topics clients and event planners are hiring speakers for. Like I said, just because you care about a topic doesn't mean anybody else cares about it. So we're going to help you know which ones make sense for you. We're going to walk through the speaking industry matrix, which industries pay the most versus which are the easiest to break into. We're going to talk about how to create and structure your presentation, how to deliver a great talk that generates repeat and referral business. We're going to talk about resources for creating your website and your demo video, establishing your online brand, how to price yourself as a speaker, how and when to negotiate to earn more. Plus, I'm going to give you a look at my own speaker fee structures as well. We're going to talk about how to sell yourself to a client, even if you hate selling. That's okay. Okay, we're going to demystify that. We're going to make it really, really simple for you. We're going to talk about how to find more speaking opportunities that are right for you. So we're also going to help you know what do you do after you get booked. Okay, just because you got booked doesn't mean that you've like it's over. Okay, that's part of it. But how do you create a great experience for the client so they want to refer you, they want to work with you again in the future? We're going to show you how to do that. We're going to help you understand how to deal with finances, taxes, business structures as a speaker. We're going to let you listen in on an actual sales call recording to learn how to build rapport with the client, what questions asked, how to talk fees, how to close the deal. We've had so many speakers who've told us this alone is totally worth it. And they just say, hey, I have a chance to hop on a call with a client. I went back and listened to that. It made so much more sense. And it's not this salesy thing, okay? We're going to just explain to you exactly how to do that call. We're going to show you how and when to hire staff, travel tips and strategies for speakers, how to transition to being a full-time speaker, and how to work with speaker bureaus, and whether or not you even should. Okay, we're going to bust that for you as well. So I want to introduce you to some speakers that are just like you. Let me tell you about Eric. Eric started dabbling with speaking in 2015. He got serious in 2016, booked 21 gigs for $23,000. In 2017, he did 54 gigs for multiple 6 figures in revenue. He has gigs booked over a year in advance, and he did all of this while being married, raising 3 kids, and working a full-time job. He also recently quit his job and is a full-time speaker now. Like Eric is absolutely killing it because, again, he followed the system that we teach. He said, "Hey Grant, I booked $20,000 worth of speaking gigs in the past 2 days. The floodgates are wide open." And then we had someone else in our private Facebook group ask, "Eric, nice job. How did you do it? Share your secrets." And he said, "Honestly, I followed Grant's methods in BPS. I was organized, easy to work with. I nailed it when I got on stage. It's not hard to do. Just follow the steps Grant teaches, have a good message, be good to event planners, and you will do great." Took exactly what we teach and saw the results. Now, Eric put together a video for us a little less than a year ago. So let me share this quick video with Eric so you can hear it directly from him.
Hi, my name is Eric Ream, and I am a professional public speaker. I started this journey back in 2014 on my own when I decided to see whether or not this would work for me. So on top of doing a full-time job, by the end of 2014, I earned about $5,000. I continued to try it out and try to figure out different ways of being a professional speaker in 2015. And by the end of that year, I earned about $9,000 on top of a full-time job. But it was in December of 2015 that was a game changer for me. You see, I learned about Grant Baldwin and his program, Booked and Paid to Speak. I consumed that course. I purchased a course, went through it in December of 2015. I applied what I learned in 2016, and by the end of the year, I earned $35,000. I had huge momentum at that point, using what I learned from Grant and from his system. And in 2017, I continued to apply what I learned in the course, and I'm happy to report, I just did my taxes, I'm happy to report that I had 53 paid speaking gigs and earned $150,000 as a professional speaker on top of a full-time job using Grant Baldwin's system for public speaking. Now folks, this is what $150,000 in checks looks like. It's fantastic. Now using Grant's system, I continue to use it. So far this year, I have 23 gigs already booked. I even have a gig booked in 2019, and I'm projected to earn about $200,000 this year in 2018. And I'm happy to say I'm in the process of transitioning into being a full-time public speaker working on my own because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. So whether you want to be a full-time speaker or a part-time speaker, or maybe you just want to see if this works for you, I highly recommend you check this course out. And what you're going to learn is all the ins and outs of how to run a speaking business, how to get gigs, how to follow up, the email process, the contracts, all the things that helped me get to where I'm at right now, and I continue to learn. Grant's system is fantastic. So I hope you check it out, and when you do, you'll plug into the Booked and Paid to Speak community and hang out with speakers like myself, and we can help each other, we can learn from each other, and I look forward to seeing you there and seeing you out on the speaker trail. Again, my name is Eric Ream. I am a professional public speaker because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. Thank you, Grant Baldwin, and I'll see you guys out there on the trail.
All right, pretty cool there. So excited about what Eric has accomplished. Let me share with you a story of Melanie. Melanie left her successful corporate job with time, has spoken in 12 different countries, has shared the stage with speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Seth Godin, and Jay Baer, has spoken nearly 100 events in less than 3 years, and uses speaking as a tool to build other parts of her business, so consulting, writing, and teaching. Melanie said, "I followed Grant's advice from the course, built a relationship with a company that does conferences in several markets. After doing 5 events for them, breakout sessions for 200 to 400 people in their smaller rooms, I just found out they put me on the main stage this time, 2,750 seat theater tomorrow." She said this, landed in New Zealand right in time for sunrise for a corporate event. Things like this make all the travel even more worth it. Hope you all have wonderful adventures coming soon too. So again, rather than just me telling you and showing you a couple of the pictures here of things that Melanie has experienced, let me show you a quick video so you can hear it from her.
My name is Melanie Diesel. I'm a professional speaker and an advertising consultant. I got my start speaking when I was still working a corporate job. I was working in a media company, and my job was to go out and talk about the work that my team was doing. Over time, I realized I might have liked that a little more than my regular job. So I looked into the possibility of opening up my own shop and becoming a public speaker. I didn't really realize until that point that people were doing this professionally, and I saw the opportunity for myself. I signed up for Grant Baldwin's program, Booked and Paid to Speak, and learned all about how to do outreach, how to convince event organizers that I and my message were worth bringing into their conference and their events. My first year out on my own, I did more than 50 gigs, and I traveled 100,000 plus miles. I got to speak in 5 different countries and bring my message about brand storytelling to tens of thousands of marketers across the globe. But here's the thing, I didn't do anything that you can't do. I signed up for the course and I learned how to do this, how to make it a business, how to be serious about the way that I present myself, about positioning myself as a speaker, how to reach out and connect with decision makers and convince them that my message and your message could be worth bringing in for their audience. If you're at all interested in becoming a public speaker and making public speaking part of your business, then this is something you need to do too. Sign up for the course and come join us. And so I believe in what we're doing so much that I've come back and I now work as a coach with Booked and Paid to Speak. So I'm able to use my experience, having gone through the course and now working as a professional speaker, to give back to the community, to help others follow the same process and build up their own business to become a public speaker. So I hope that I'll see you in the course soon.
All right, let me introduce you to one other speaker, Sue Edinger. Sue said last week I was invited to a vet conference in Ontario next January, offered $1,500. I scheduled a call, listened to her, learned about meeting, then told her my fee was higher. Committee today approved $3,500. Full day of speaking, but I'm so excited. First time I've negotiated one of the vet conferences. Thank you. I'm learning so much. I shared this with you at the beginning, which said in the last month, I've been asked to speak in Norway, China, Philippines, part of 2 leadership conferences in Vegas. So excited to see things come together. This here's one of my favorite pictures. She said, I just wrapped up 4 lectures for a veterinary conference in Maui. I know several of you mentioned that part of the thing that you're excited about with speaking is travel and experiences. And so here's an opportunity that Sue had to speak in Maui. She said this, fun to look back at 2018. This is in addition to my job as a veterinary cancer specialist and a mom. 2 of the countries were for fun, still a successful, busy year. Thanks, Grant and team, for your support. Ready for new adventures in 2019. So 43 flight segments, 67,000 air miles, 17 states, 4 countries, 21 events, and 96 speaking sessions. Said every one of these speakers would tell you that if they can do this, that you can too. They are nothing special. They have no special powers or abilities, and they just follow the Booked and Paid to Speak system. Now, maybe you're feeling like this, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. At this point, I'm afraid to ask. And so if you're still unsure who you would speak to, what you would speak about, we will help you get clarity on that. Because remember, like, everybody starts from zero. Nobody has it figured out from day one. So in addition to all the resources, we're going to give you lifetime access to the training materials. That way you can go as fast or as slow as you want, whenever you want. All the resources are downloadable, PDF transcripts, video, audio, everything that you need to be successful, you're going to have. Now, we also don't want you to be all by yourself. And so we want to give you all the coaching and support that you need as well. So we're going to provide for you the Booked and Paid to Speak community, which is a private discussion group. We have over 1,300 speakers that are in there. We do monthly live Q&A calls, as well as the opportunity to network with other speakers. So you can see there in the corner, actually, we just crossed over 1,400 speakers that are in that private group. Now, this is a different group than the one I told you about at the beginning. The one at the beginning is a free group for the public. There's over 12,000 speakers in there. But if you want to be in where myself and our coaches are, where we're answering questions on a daily basis, that's what this group is. We also, like I said, we do live monthly Q&A calls where we hop on live, answer any and all questions that you've got. Plus, like I said, we're always in the Facebook group answering questions. Kendra said, I was asked to keynote an event in Dallas in March. The best part is the person hosting is in this community. Thanks for the opportunity, a great partnership. Leah said, I thought you and Melanie would love to know that your suggestions netted me an increase that has almost paid for this program's fee. So she had a couple questions about a speaking fee for an international gig. And so we talked her through, here's how you need to price that, and here's what you need to do. And she said those suggestions, just from the private Facebook group, netted her an increase that almost paid for the program's fee, just from that one conversation. So you'll get the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program. Like I mentioned, all of that has been completely reshot, updated, and new and improved. So all the content, the methodology, the framework that we teach through, all of that has been updated and improved. So this is the first time that we've released that. You also have the private discussion group and those monthly Q&A calls as well. Plus, let's go through some bonuses here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give you unlimited email consulting with myself and our coaches. So if you get stuck, you have a question, you can email us directly so that you always have professional speakers who are on standby, ready to help you. If you're wondering about how much you should charge, or something about your website, or you're trying to nail down what you should speak about or who you should speak to, we are literally one email away from being able to help you. Second bonus here is we're going to give you all of our email scripts, contracts, checklists. We call this the booked and paid to speak vault. This is also something that we've improved upon. Every document we use in our business, they'll help you book more business, stay more organized, eliminate stress. Like I mentioned to you, the follow-up flow chart, the email swipe copy, all of those pieces have been updated and new and improved. So the email scripts for reaching out to potential clients, the follow-up flow chart, the speaking agreement, the event information form, speaking writer, event checklist, all of those we provide to you. Every document we use, we provide those to you. Judy said, I sent out the quick question email to 18 organizations today. Within 2 hours, I had 6 replies of interest and already secured 1 event for May. Thanks for such terrific guidance, Grant. So look at that. Again, she just copy and pasted the emails. And you might want to tweak them a little bit, but use them as a guide for how to contact. So she took that, followed the system, and immediately booked a gig. We also have 12 advanced training modules where we've interviewed 12 different industry experts who teach how to create an online course or write and publish a book or build an email list, and just even some advanced speaking strategies. And then also 12 speaker success stories, 12 speaker case studies of those who have followed the system and what they did so that you can get the same results that they did. So here's a recap, all right? You've got the booked and paid to speak video training program. Like I said, we've updated that, reshot all of that. The lifetime access to the private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting for a year with that, the booked and paid to speak vault, all those emails, contracts, checklists, the 12 advanced training modules, the 12 speaker success stories, and then I've got several fast action bonuses. These fast action bonuses are going to be slightly different than what we've offered before. This is where it's going to be a little bit different and something that we've never offered before. Eric said this, it's been 6 weeks since I signed up for Booked and Paid to Speak. I don't know what I was expecting. I knew I needed to try something. In the 6 weeks, I've booked, received, and signed contracts and deposits for 12 events through December of this year. Bottom line, thank you, Grant, and your team. Look at the bottom there. Confirmed $27,000. $27,000 in bookings by following the Booked and Paid to Speak system. Steve says, good news, booked my first paid gig of the year. Is a group I previously spoke at for free, and they told me they don't pay speakers. This time when they ask, I turned them down because the amount of my time needed would be a net financial loss for me if I did it for free. They ran it up the chain, got approval to provide a speaker's fee. I doubt I would have pushed for it had I not started this program and taken my speaking career more seriously. Again, it had the system, followed the system, booked a gig that previously wouldn't have paid him at all. Christopher said, boom, booked in for a Mexico sales conference, sold 200 books for the event. Thanks, Grant. The course is paying off huge. My mindset, confidence, and attitude are exploding. Chrissy said, Grant, I signed up for your course just about 2 months ago, booked my first speaking gig today. Thank you for your attention to detail throughout the course, all your awesome resources I get to go back and start working with. Now, we talked about this earlier. Did you get your speaker fee over at thespeakerlab.com/myfee? Did you get that? If so, go ahead and post that in the chat. Go ahead and post that in the chat. Again, I'll put that link there, thespeakerlab.com/myfee. So if you got that before, go ahead and drop in the chat how much that was for. How much was that for you? All right, seeing several numbers dropped in there, 900, 1100, 1600, 2400, 2000, 8000, 2200, 3800. Awesome. Love it. Very cool. Very cool. So one of the things I love about speaking is that other investments literally take years to earn back your investment. But with Booked and Paid to Speak, you can earn it back in one gig. In one gig. Look at this. I'm super, super excited. Just booked my first $10,000 event. Thanks to your program, I have a system that brings a level of professionalism like the pros. Another one, booked my first 5-figure gig last night. Thanks for helping me get to this point. I'm working back through the program so we can leverage the insights even more powerfully. What you do matters. Eric said, great morning group. Booked 2 events yesterday, a 1-day training for $3,100 and a 2-day training for $4,700. Mike said, super excited. This is for an engagement that'll be in a few weeks. I'll get the remaining balance when the gig has come. Thanks, Grant, for the insight in the course. Look at that. So that was for half of it for 1,700. He's got another check of 1,700 coming. Greg said, Grant's course is worth it. Booked a gig today. Made my money back. Thanks, buddy. Tom said, big win. Purchased Grant's booked and paid to speak master program 1 month ago. Booked my first state conference gig just now for 2.5 times what I paid for Grant's program. Thanks, Grant. Your program is a no-brainer for anyone who wants to get paid to speak. And then Jake said, just received back signed contract for a January gig for the first time at my new higher price point. Thanks, Grant, Melanie, and the team for the program that helped me know how to land it. Again, I don't share any of these things as a pat on the back, but to show for most speakers, if they follow the program with one booking, they can more than earn back their investment. Let me go back to my story for a second. When I got started, I invested $999 to attend that speaker training. Remember that PayPal receipt I showed you? Okay, that was a huge investment for me. But that very first gig that I booked was for how much? It's for $1,000. So one gig, I made back that investment, and every dime since then has been just icing on the cake. It's been sprinkles on my ice cream sundae. I love sprinkles. Did I mention that? I think I did. So here's a recap of what you're going to get. You're going to get the all-new Booked and Paid to Speak video training program. You get lifetime access to the private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting, the Booked and Paid to Speak vault, those email scripts, contracts, checklist, the 12 advanced training modules, 12 speaker success stories, plus more bonuses to come. So total value there is nearly $11,000. Now, if we offer this for $5,000, then this would probably be a no-brainer because, again, of what you can make from speaking. For several of you, it may be one gig, it may be a couple of gigs to earn back your investment. But don't worry, I'm not offering it for $5,000. Even at $3,000, I think this would be a bargain. In fact, we had, as we were creating and updating all the material and the content, we were really debating significantly increasing the price because we just feel like the value is there. We know that we see the results that speakers get, all those results plus many more that I've shown you here. Speakers who are booking their first gig for thousands of dollars. We're like this, like it justifies it, right? But at the same time, we wanted to make sure it stayed reasonable for so many speakers who are getting started. I remember what it was like when I was getting started, and that was a big investment. So we're not going to offer it for $3,000. Now, normally, again, if you've seen this before, you know that we offer this for $14.97. Okay, we offer it for $14.97 on our site. But what we're going to do is, you can see here on the site, you can go get it for $14.97. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to knock off $500. You can get this for a one-time investment of just $997 or for $197 a month for just 6 months. So $197 a month for just 6 months, or again, just a one-time investment of $997. Okay, so you can go right here to thespeakerlab.com/new or click that link on the side. Again, go to click that link or go to thespeakerlab.com/new. So at this point, you have a choice. Okay, option one is that you could spend countless frustrating hours like I did, trying to make sense of it all, stumbling your way through, and maybe one day it comes together. Maybe, hopefully, hypothetically, right? But maybe not. Or you can take the fast track. You can get step-by-step help from professional speaker mentors who have been where you want to go. So what if I could take all of the risk away from you? I know some of you are like, hey, I'm interested, I'm intrigued, but maybe you're on the fence, okay? So here's my guarantee. Take the course for 60 days. 60 days, that's a long time, okay? Do the work, give an honest effort. If you don't see results, I will give you your money back, okay? We know this works if you do the work. So give an honest effort. And if you don't see results, we'll give you your money back. Let's take it a step further though, okay? And I don't know anybody that's offered this. In fact, we were just working with a consultant, and he said, listen, I've seen a bunch of training programs. I've never seen a guarantee like this. But here's what we offer. He said, double your investment guarantee. If you follow the system we teach, you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we'll give you your money back. All right? We'll give you your money back. You have a full year. If you don't at least double your investment, we'll give you your money back. Again, we know this works if you do the work. Now, your best marketing is a great talk. So that's an area that we want to help you in as well. Karen said this, a reminder, Grant's process works. I gave a keynote 2 years ago. People who attended remembered me in my talk. They found me through my name, had me come to their company today. The best business development is a good talk. Use your name so people can find you. This is a long game and a relationship business, and you never know when you are planting seeds that will germinate years later. Melanie said in the comments there, said, seconded from a call this morning. I saw you speak at a marketing conference a while back. And when my company said they were planning an event, I Googled your name to find you. Being a good speaker is a great is one of the best marketing tools that you have. So we actually, like I mentioned, we have a separate training program called the Art of Speaking. So a lot of speakers who join Booked and Paid to Speak also get the Art of Speaking. Now, again, we have some training inside Booked and Paid to Speak on creating and developing your talk, but it's not nearly as in-depth and comprehensive as what you're going to get with the Art of Speaking. So when you join Booked and Paid to Speak, you have the option of getting Art of Speaking as well. So what exactly will I learn from Art of Speaking? We're going to help you get clear on finding your objective for your message, how to organize and structure your talk, how to write, craft, and deliver a compelling story, how to use humor, even if you don't think you're funny, how to deal with nerves and stage fright, what do you do when things go wrong, how to deal with tough and uninterested audiences, dealing with all things technology, slides, microphones, all of that we're going to get into. We're going to talk about what to wear, what not to wear as well, and much, much more inside of Art of Speaking. Also going to give you a behind the scenes look at my own keynote. And I'm going to give you, if you've seen any of our speech breakdowns inside of on YouTube, then this is going to be, it's going to be that for my own presentation. Also going to give you all of my talk manuscripts, so you know exactly how I create my talks. We're going to give you a talk creation worksheet template, so you have a simple worksheet template that you can follow whenever you're creating your next talk or presentation. Now, like I said, having a good talk makes all the difference. So rather than just me telling you, I want you to hear this directly from Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income.
Hey, what's up? This is Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com. I'm excited to shoot this video just to tell you really quick about how Grant helped me in my speaking career. I mean, I can remember various moments where he's given me a lot of great advice, but one in particular was right before a very challenging keynote sort of presentation I was going to make, and I had to tell the story, and I wasn't quite sure how to frame it. And actually, Grant pulled me aside, being as helpful as he always is. He goes, "Hey, Pat, why don't we just chill in my hotel room for a little bit? You can present it to me. I can walk you through some of what I would do to improve it." And we did that. It was honestly some of the best advice I'd gotten. And then I nailed the presentation literally just a couple hours after that. And so I'm very thankful for Grant. And that's just one of the many moments that he's offered to help with a lot of my speaking career. And I'm just excited because, I know he does this for a living. He helps others learn how to present well. And I know he's not just all talk because he's helped me, but I've also seen him on stage many times and he just crushes it. And I'm so thankful that he can help others do the same because I know how important and how powerful speaking can be, but also it's an art and it's a challenge. But Grant can be there to support you through that, like he supported me. So check him out if you.
All right. So cool thing from Pat there. All right. So this I'll answer Greg's question in the chat. Is this $9.97 price really only good for the next 11 minutes? Not ready to make a decision yet. Totally understand that, Greg. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have this replay available for the next 6 days. So this offer will be available until next Monday, which is going to be, May the 13th, I believe. So this offer will be available. However, the next 4 bonuses that I'm going to offer are only available for those who join tonight while we are live right here. Everything I've shown you so far, you're going to get if you join in the next couple days. But the next 4 bonuses are only for those who join while we are on this training. So the first bonus here is this. Normally, in the past, we have offered a 15-minute one-on-one video coaching call. But again, as a one-time thing, we've never done this, but to kick off the all-new, updated Booked and Paid to Speak, we're offering a 30-minute one-on-one video coaching call, which it adds up, okay? That's our time is valuable, and so we'll offer a 30-minute one-on-one video coaching call. Again, this is only for those who join while we're on the training. So if you join tomorrow, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We'd love for you to join tomorrow. If you need to sleep on it, that's cool. You'll just miss out on this special webinar-only bonus. Second bonus that we're going to provide. If you join now before the webinar ends, you'll also get a 6-month featured membership to Gig Salad. 6-month featured membership to Gig Salad. Now, what is Gig Salad? It is a marketplace to connect speakers with event planners. They actually have over 300 new speaking gig listings per month. So they offer a membership plans. The feature membership is actually the highest plan that they offer. So you can actually see here, this is directly from their site, $289 per 6 months. So I have a relationship with the Gig Salad founder. And I said, hey, is there anything that we can do to help our speakers? He said, we'll give you a 6-month membership for free. Look at this. Mike, one of our speakers inside Booked and Paid to Speak. Hey, guys, speaking in the education arena, mainly high school and colleges, got 2 gigs in May, totaling a little under $5,000. Still not satisfied. One was through a connection from another educator. The other was through Gig Salad. They're both nonprofits dealing with students. They're also purchasing copies of my book, Keep Using the Training, It Works. So again, Gig Salad is a place to connect with those who are looking for speakers. So you can go pay for a membership to Gig Salad, but we're going to provide that to you for free for a 6-month membership. And again, that's only for those who join while we're here on the training. All right. Let me give you a third bonus. This is something we have not offered before. Okay. So we're going to give you, we conducted 40 different interviews with some of today's top speakers, some of today's top marketers, speakers like Michael and Amy Port, Pat Flynn, John Acuff, Kerry Wilkerson, Dory Clark, Andy Andrews, Dan Miller, Chris Ducker, Hal Elrod, plus another 30 some others. So we've conducted these different interviews with them, video interviews, and we are going to give all of these to you. Okay. Some of their best strategies, secrets, and tips on all types of subjects and topics relating to speaking, to online marketing, to building a business, to travel, all of that. You're going to hear from these top speakers in these video interviews. So like I said, this is not something that we have ever included before, but we're including it again for those who join while we are live here on the training. Now, we're going to throw in one more here. For those who pay in full, all right? So only for those who pay in full, you're going to get our WordPress website theme, Podium. So Podium is the website theme that we offer that helps you to build your website quicker. It simplifies the process. Like if you're not a tech person, but you know you need a website, this is for you. That's me. I'm not a tech person at all, but this really simplifies the process of creating your website. So again, we offer this on our website for $197. But again, for those who join while we're here on the training, you're going to get Podium. And then again, those who join while we're on the training, but those who pay in full, okay, the $997, just one-time investment, you'll get that bonus for free. All right. So how do you join? Again, go to thespeakerlab.com/new, thespeakerlab.com/new. We got a lot of people who are already joining. Don't forget, whenever you're checking out, you can get the Art of Speaking. Again, totally optional, but definitely would encourage you to pick that up. So at this point, remember, you have the potential, and now you need the plan. You have the potential, now you need the plan. What kind of speaker will you be? Will you be the dabbler or the action taker? The dabbler or the action taker? This could be you. This should be you up there on stage. There are people that need your message, but you have to be willing to take action. Look at this. Joseph said, Grant, I'm doing 2 keynotes this week, and we grew by $100,000 last year. Thanks for all of your tips. Jeremy said, I completed my video website, found out Friday I'm going to be the opening speaker for a local conference on innovation and entrepreneurship, loving the BPS materials. Terry said, just secured a keynote for $7,500 in July 2019. Thanks, Grant, for the BPS system. Great week. Booked 4 speaking jobs, 3 in 2018, 1 in 2019, 2 paid, 2 with book sales. Thanks heaps. Jill said, I spoke for free on Tuesday. Someone who heard me speak reached out, asked me to help them re-engage their employees. $9,000 contract signed on Friday for follow-up workshop and 24 hours of consulting, my first money from speaking. Angela said, this is a few weeks overdue, but I have been confirmed for my first TEDx talk. Whew. All right, that's a lot of stuff. I know I've covered a lot. I know I've talked fast. I've gone through slides fast. But again, I wanted to show you what is possible if you take action. All right, so you ready for Q&A? Go ahead and put your questions in the question box below. So again, here's a quick recap. If you have the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, the lifetime access to the private discussion group and Q&A calls, let's see here, the 12 months of unlimited email consulting with Speaker Lab coaches, the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault, the email scripts, contracts, checklist, the 12 advanced training modules, 12 speaker success stories, the 30-minute, again, not 15, 30-minute one-on-one coaching call, the Gig Salad membership, 6 months to Gig Salad membership, the 40 interviews with today's top speakers and marketers, and then the WordPress theme website template. Again, for those who pay in full, you will get that bonus. As you see, total value there is just under $12,000. We offer this on a website for $14.97. Like I said, we knock off $500 for the training. So you get this for $9.97. Or again, you can do the payment plan of just $197 a month for just 6 months. All right, $197 a month for just 6 months. Like I said, you got on the right-hand corner, you have the 2 guarantees, the 60-day money back guarantee, and then the double your investment guarantee. Again, we know this works if you do the work. All right. So if you're serious about doing the work, we know that you will see the results. All right. So again, if you've got questions, go ahead and drop that in the chat. I see a couple questions that are coming in here. Great. Let's see. Anthony said, is there a different bonus for paying full versus monthly? Yep. The different bonus is going to be that fast action number 4. Okay. Fast action 4, only for paying full. So again, those who pay in full, you'll get the WordPress theme website template. All right. That's only for those who pay in full. So you can totally do the monthly payment plan. You'll just miss out on that bonus. So like I said, we offer that on our site for $197. You can go buy it for $197. But for those who pay in full, you will get that for free. So, and like I said, just a reminder that these 4 bonuses, these are only available tonight. Okay. So as soon as we're done, those 4 bonuses will be disappearing. So the rest of these up here, you can certainly come back and get those if you'd like later, but it's these 4 bonuses are only available while we're here on the training. Let's see here. Question: can I assume international postage is included for physical materials? So everything is digital. Everything is online. We are not going to be shipping you anything. So literally, as soon as you join, you're going to get access right away. You're going to get your login information, and you can jump in and start taking action immediately. You don't have to wait on us to send you anything. Thomas asked, would I be able to purchase this in 2 weeks? So let's see, this offer will be available until next Monday. What would that be? Again, May the 13th. And so after that, then the price will go back up to its normal $14.97 price there. So you'll just be paying $500 more. All right, what else? If you've got other questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. If you got questions about any of the training that we've covered so far tonight, if you have questions about this special offer, I know a couple questions have come in on that, so go ahead and drop that in the chat. Now, Michael is asking, how is Elite different than what you are offering tonight? So we have a Booked and Paid to Speak, which is what we've covered here tonight, and then we have Booked and Paid to Speak Elite. And so Booked and Paid to Speak Elite is a much more in-depth coaching program. So we have more group coaching and more one-on-one coaching. Now, I'll tell you that Elite is a much bigger investment than this, than what we're talking about here. But if you're like, hey, I don't need a ton of the extra group coaching or the one-on-one coaching or any of that stuff, I like what I see here, then you can just jump in with Booked and Paid to Speak. All right, let's see here. A couple other questions. Greg asked, how do you get travel costs to be covered? So really, there's 2 ways to approach travel costs for speaking gigs. Okay, so one option would be that you invoice for travel separately, and so you go speak, and whatever your travel costs are for that, you just bill them separately. So that's one option. The second option that we tend to recommend is what would be like all-inclusive pricing, meaning that you have one set fee and that you include all of your travel costs into that. So let's say you estimated your travel cost to be, it's going to be flight and a hotel and rental car. You estimate it to be around, let's say $1,000, okay? And your speaking fee is normally, let's say $3,000. So you would charge $4,000, but you would let the client know that all of the travel would be included in that speaking fee. So that tends to be the way that we recommend. There's going to be no surprises for the client that way. It's going to be much simpler for you in terms of record keeping. It's going to be simpler really for everybody. So that's typically what we would recommend, is to go with all-inclusive pricing. But again, we dig into all of the pros and cons inside of the training materials. Jorge asks, is all the material online? Yes, everything is online. So again, like I said, you don't have to wait for us to ship you anything. We may ship you a surprise, but that is something totally different, and just a little thank you. So it has nothing to do with the course. So yeah, so you can as soon as you join, you'll be sent a login information, and you can jump right in. Like I said, all of the content, all of the training material has been completely updated, and so you'll be able to jump in and take action on it immediately. All right, what else? What other questions you got? Questions, comments, cares, concerns? Jorge said, did you say that your program also helps with contracts? Yeah, in fact, what we do, rather than just saying like, hey, here's some ideas of what should be in a contract, we give you a contract. So inside of the Booked and Paid to Speak vault, we're going to actually give you our contract. So you don't have to recreate it, you don't have to invent it, you don't have to come up with your own. Just take ours. We'll give you ours. We'll make it simple for you. All right. All right. What else? What other questions do you have? Go ahead and drop in other questions that you may have here. Let's tell you what, let's do some shout outs here. Let me scroll back here. We've got a lot of people buzzing in here. Okay, let's see here. I see Nicole, and I see Thomas, and I see Mark, and I see Sherry, and I see Rodney, I see Dave, and Pete, and Marcy, and Dante, and Randall, and Dwayne, and Jan. Welcome to all you guys. So excited that you joined. I got several others continuing to join. So, excuse me. Looking forward to working with you guys and connecting with you on the inside. Okay, let's see here. Dwayne says, done. I'm a new member. Welcome, Dwayne. Excited to work with you, my friend. Kristen asked, advice for breaking out beyond faith-based nonprofits. Well, a lot of this, again, just kind of depends on who you want to be speaking to and what it is that you want to be speaking about. So, and this comes down to the positioning, what we talked about at the very beginning. So the more clear you are, the more focused you are there, then the easier it is to find gigs. So really, instead of saying, hey, I'm getting a lot of gigs to speak in one industry, but I want to speak in a different industry, what do I do? So what you got to do is get clear on what's the new industry that you want to be speaking to and start making sure that your website, that your marketing materials, that your packaging reflects that. Okay, remember the ice cream example we talked about earlier. If you said, hey, all I sell is vanilla ice cream. I love vanilla ice cream, and all I sell is vanilla ice cream, and I'd really love to be selling chocolate ice cream. Well, if your package still reflects vanilla ice cream, then nobody's going to be buying you expecting chocolate ice cream, right? So you need to change the packaging. You need to make sure that your website, your marketing materials reflect who you would like to be speaking to and what's the problem that you are solving for that industry. Nicole asked, how do we narrow down industry? That's something, again, we dig into. You at some point, you have to pick a path. You can't say, I speak to anybody and everybody. You have to narrow it down and say, okay, this is who I'm going to focus on. The challenge we see with a lot of speakers is whoever they decide that they're going to be speaking to, they feel like it's permanent. It's not. We want to help you get to a starting point, but it's not the permanent, it's not the only point. Okay. So we want to help you I want to get going. I want to get some traction. Think of it like riding a bike. It's much easier to steer a bike when it's in motion. We want to help you get in motion, and then we can kind of make a little bit of course correction as we go. So narrowing down your industry, it can take some work, but it's definitely possible, and something that we want to be able to help you with. Thomas asked, can I only do a couple of hours a week? I have 2 jobs, teach, going to work, and the stuff. Totally get that, Thomas. Totally understand that. We have a lot of speakers who join at all different levels, right? So some that like how they like go through and they binge watch all the material like in a weekend, and you could totally do that. And some speakers, it's like, hey, I can just spend a few hours here and there on it. Totally get that as well. So on a related note, people ask Grant, how long does it take to get results? How long does it take me to book a gig? Well, you saw several examples tonight that I shared with you of speakers who booked their first gig within the first 60 days. And that's not uncommon, but a lot of it comes down to how quickly you put in the work. Okay. So think of it like this. If I were to ask you, how long does it take to lose 10 pounds? Well, the answer is it depends, right? It really depends how long. So for some people, they could lose 10 pounds in a couple of days. For some people, it might take a couple of weeks, but it really all comes down to how quickly you are taking action. So the same thing is true with speaking. You can absolutely find and book your first paid gig within 60 days, but it comes down to how quickly you are willing to take action on it. Let's see here. Adam said, this was excellent. Thank you. You bet, man. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate it. Rodney said, just joined, already speaking, but ready to take it to the next level. Looking forward to connecting and learning. Awesome, Rodney. Excited for you, man. Jorge said, if I purchase, is there a yearly fee to stay a member? Nope. We do not have any other fees after this. So, if you want to send us money later, you're more than welcome to. But you've got lifetime access to the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program. You got lifetime access to the private discussion group. All those materials, you're going to get those for life. So, yeah. We've had people tell us, don't do that, Grant. I was like, nah, I want to help people. I want to be in this for the long term. And we've been in this for many, many years. We're not going anywhere. And so we would love to work with you on the inside there. All right, let's see here. What else? What other questions here? And again, we've got several people who are continuing to join. I see Kyle just joined as well. I see Allison just joined. So yeah, we're still, as long as we're here, then we are going to be answering your questions. Pete asked, Grant, were the 25 leads part of the old package for BPS? I seem to remember them from an info call with a coach. So that's for different programs. We have Booked and Paid to Speak Elite, and so that's what you'd be referring to there. Now, when you join Booked and Paid to Speak, you have the option of us finding leads for you. So that's totally an optional thing that you can add to your order. You don't have to do that, but you can add that to your order if you'd like, and we can find leads for you. But Pete, what you're referencing is the Elite program. So that's a much more in-depth coaching program. Michael asked, if I start a nonprofit, can you go to corporate later? Sure. Like, there's nothing that says you have to speak in one industry forever and ever and ever. The difference is that you don't want to try to speak to everybody. So if you say, hey, I'm going to focus on nonprofit for a while, and then, in a year or a couple of years, I'm going to try to pivot and do more with a different industry, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I got my start speaking largely in the education space, speaking to high schools and colleges. And then I started speaking more toward entrepreneurs and speaking more toward corporations. So you can certainly evolve and pivot as you go. So don't feel like you have to speak to the same audience forever and ever. That's not a problem. Let's see here. Someone said, thanks, Grant. I joined today to assist with my speaking for a parachurch organization, speaking mostly to churches. Looking forward to enhancing my effectiveness. Have to go. Thanks again, Mark. Awesome, Mark. Really, really glad that you joined, man. And we're looking forward to working with you. Patrick, would older students' materials be updated when new contents are added? Yeah. So in fact, we updated all materials today. So if you're already in Booked and Paid to Speak, you've been in it for a couple weeks, couple months, couple years. You got all of the new material. So in fact, we had someone post in the Facebook group. They posted in the Facebook group today. They said, "Hey, I joined." In fact, tell you what. Let me find this. And I'll read it for you. We got people continuing to join the program. So again, as long as we're here, you guys can still get this special offer. But when we're done, this bonus will disappear. Okay, let me find it here. I'm pulling it up. Where is it? We have an active Facebook group. Oh, now I can't find it. All right. So the guy basically, he joined a couple of years ago. We emailed him today to say, hey, all of the new materials, all the updates for Booked and Paid to Speak are updated and ready for you. Go check them out. And he said, hey, I joined a couple of years ago. Oh, here it is. I bought this program a couple of years ago, let it slide to the back burner. I got an email today from Grant pointing out that the program had been redone. And so he's jumping back in. So again, this is a reminder of you have lifetime access. So if you're saying like, hey, I'm going to I know maybe I can't get to it right now, but I want to come back to this, in a couple months or a year or a couple of years. We're not going anywhere. So someone in the Facebook group today said I joined a couple of years ago, and we updated everything, improved everything. They came back and got everything. So we're not going anywhere. Any updates we do in the future, you'll get those updates as well. Dante said, honestly, my first webinar was about 2 years ago. I didn't have the money, saved up, worked hard. Now I know this program will help me create a plan to get to be paid as a dope speaker. I love that. That's awesome, man. Brooks asked, how long does it take to build the demo? You don't have to have that stuff. So, like we talked about, work with what you've got and improve as you go. So if you're someone who's like, hey, I'm tech savvy. I actually edited my very first demo video. I actually edited a couple of my demo videos using. I actually used to use Windows Movie Maker, my very first one, like 12 years ago. But now, if you're familiar with a tool like ScreenFlow or Camtasia or iMovie, then it's pretty simple to edit those yourself. So if you're pretty tech savvy, Brooks, you could absolutely do it yourself. All right, let me keep scrolling through here. Jorge, you just sold me on the lifetime access. I've been looking for over a year to do this. Thank you. Just hit place order. Awesome. Excited to work with you, Jorge. And we got a lot of people continuing to join. So welcome to all you guys. Again, excited to connect with you guys on the inside. Thomas said maybe next time around. Thanks for all the information you give me today. Even just a little bit has helped. Awesome. Listen, I want you to know I'm totally good with that, right? Because like I said, you can take everything we've shown you and you can go implement it and you can go see results. But if you want to accelerate that, if you want to see results quicker, then this is what Booked and Paid to Speak is for. If you want more help, if you want more coaching, if you want some more support, then you need Booked and Paid to Speak. So definitely. You don't want to miss out on this, right? Okay, let's see here. Tom asked, what's your best course if you want to be a better public speaker, but you're not interested in getting paid? That is for, that's our Art of Speaking course, our Art of Speaking course. So if you are interested in that, then... All right, you guys still there? Can you hear me? Talk to me in the chat if you can hear me. I do not know what just happened. We're back? All right. The joys of technology. Okay. I think I was in the middle of answering a question for... Where did it go? Tom asked... sorry about that, guys. No idea what happened. So Tom was asking, what's the best course if you want to be a better public speaker, not interested in getting paid? Yeah, that's for our Art of Speaking course. So if you're interested in just how do I create and deliver a great talk, that's what Art of Speaking is all about. All right, what else? What other questions do you got? Again, go ahead and drop in the chat what other questions you got. How many of you, actually, let me ask you this. I'm looking here in the chat, and I'm looking here in our webinar tool that we're using, and there's a lot of people still here. So a lot of people, maybe you're on the fence right now. Okay, you're on the fence for whatever reason. So if you're on the fence, just type in the chat fence. Just let me know that you're on the fence by typing in fence on the chat, and then let me know. If you're on the fence, let me know why you're on the fence. What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What are you nervous about? If you're on the fence, just type in fence. And let me know why you're on the fence. What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? In the meantime, for those of you, while some of you are typing in fence, you're on the fence, you're thinking about it, you're considering it. Thomas asked, once we get in, when should we expect login stuff? You should get it right away. Once you finalize your order there, you should get that right away. So just drop that. You should get that right away. And if not, sometimes, let me look here. I'll tell you this, once you Sometimes we got a lot of people joining right now, so it may take a few minutes for that to come through. If for some reason it does not come through, let's see, it's tonight. If it doesn't come through in the next hour or two, then let us know and we can manually set that up for you. But yeah, you should get that right away. Okay, I see a couple of you that are asking, who are asking or saying that you're on the fence. Okay, so a lot of times I hear from people that are on the fence because of finances. Totally understand that. Grant, what if I don't have the money? I'm interested. What if I don't have the money? So understand this, there's a difference between spending money and investing money. Spending money and investing money. When you spend money, there's no ROI on that. There's no return on investment. That money is gone. So when you buy furniture or clothes or a new car or vacations, there's nothing wrong with those things, okay? There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But you don't get anything back for that. That money is gone. In fact, just today, I shared this in the Instagram. My wife, we've driven a minivan for 10 years and I love our minivan. But my wife is like, I've had enough of minivan life. Maybe if you're a mom, you understand. She's like, I want to move to an SUV. I want to get out of being a minivan mom. And so we've been looking at some SUVs and I surprised her actually today with an SUV. It's not used. It's not new. It's used. We saved up, we paid cash for it. And to surprise her with that today. And I know, like, I'm excited to give her a car, but I also know, like, that money's gone. That's gone, right? That as soon as I paid for that money is gone. That immediately starts depreciating as an asset. But when you invest money, there is a return on that investment, right? You get an ROI, you get that money back plus more. You get, if you invest in real estate or retirement or education or knowledge or training that you apply, that you do something with, you actually get that money back plus more. That's why when I invested that $999 in that very first training, it was a big investment, but I knew that all I had to do was book one gig, which I did. That very first gig that I booked, I earned back that investment. I shared with you countless examples of speakers who they booked one gig and they doubled, tripled, quadrupled their investment on that one gig. They get that investment back plus more. In the same way that my wife and I, we put money into retirement every single month because we know that's not an expense, that's an investment. We know we're going to get that money back plus more. One of my favorite quotes is, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. How long are you going to continue to wonder if you have what it takes? How long are you going to just kick the tires of like, oh, that speaking thing seems cool, I should do something with the speaking thing? Like, at some point, are you going to actually take action on it and instead of just continuing to wonder if you have what it takes? Rima said, thanks so much, Grant. Really, all of this is because of the guidance you gave us during the course. For the past 3 months, I've been sifting through every article on the internet, like shooting an arrow in the dark to find out how I could get my foot in the door. Thanks to you, your wonderful course, I found my way. Now I can even see the results. Bethany said, I've learned more during one module of Grant's course than I have after booking my own speaking engagements for the past 3 years. TJ said, your email process greatly helped me. I booked 2 gigs, a possible third. I'm being paid $3,500 and $700 for those 2. Look at that. Those 2 gigs, over $4,000 in return on that investment. So, I mean, if there's any other investment where you can put in $1, and in this case, TJ got $4 back for every dollar he invested, that's amazing. That's amazing. Gail said, since joining the course 2 months ago, I've booked 3 engagements totaling $1,750. Michael said, Grant's knowledge about the speaking industry is unmatched. His coaching has more than paid for itself within 2 months. So again, there's that recap. Again, I know it may feel like a big investment, but I also know that if you do the work, that you will see the results and that you will get that return on your investment. Okay, a couple other questions here. Tom said, are you running any specials on the Art of Speaking course? Not currently. So you can go pick it up on the website. If you go to thespeakerlab.com/store, we offer it for $397. So you can certainly go pick it up there. But this $197 is only available for those who join Booked and Paid to Speak as well. Why does it say Speaker Lab Summit rather than Booked and Paid to Speak after purchasing? So Speaker Lab Summit is one of the bonuses that's including. That's where you're going to find those 40 interviews for today's top speakers and marketers. If Booked and Paid to Speak is not in there, it should be. So if it's not, just email support@thespeakerlab.com and we'll make sure it gets added in there. Anthony asks, is Gig Salad membership for 6 months? Yep, it's a 6-month membership. How helpful is it for booking corporate gigs? Literally, there's hundreds of different bookings that are added to it every single month in all types of industries. So if you're looking for corporate gigs or association gigs, it is based on location geographically. So the bigger the market that you're in, the more potential opportunities that you may have. You can actually get listed in multiple markets if you wanted to, but like I said, we have speakers who have booked several gigs in Gig Salad. They tend to be on the lower end of what an organization would pay. So if you're looking for hey, I'm looking for $5,000 gigs, you're probably not going to find many of those within Gig Salad. It's mostly going to be $1,000, couple $1,000 gigs. But like I said, showed you an example, and we see examples in the Facebook group regularly of speakers who book in various industries through Gig Salad. Kristen said, be honest, I signed up for another speaking course and I didn't love it. Yeah, I totally understand that. I know that there's other courses that are out there that do similar things. I know some that have been around, not very long, and they probably won't be around very long, unfortunately. I think it's real easy for people who just they see it as a get rich quick thing, and they just want to make a quick buck, and they come in. Let me tell you a couple things about speaking. I haven't actually done it, but let me tell you a couple things and see if I can sell something. And we've been in the speaking industry for well over a decade. We've been running this training program for several years now. We've helped literally thousands of speakers, in fact, in all 50 states and in 39 countries. So speakers literally all over the world that we've helped and that we've worked with. And so I just know I can't speak for other programs, but I can speak for us, that I know what we teach works. And I think the results that I've shared with you speak for themselves, and that we've seen, a lot of results from speakers that take what we teach, do the results or do the work, and they see the results. Anthony said, didn't see examples of results gained from new program versus old one. That's because we just released the new program today. So this is the first time this has been rolled out. And so we've been working for the past several months, just working on improving the user experience on the back end, and also, again, improving all of the content to make sure that you have everything that you need you can be successful as a speaker. Thomas Ash, can we book the art of speaking later? If you could add it during this promotional period. So you've got until next Monday. So if you wanted to email support at the Speaker Lab and just say, hey, was thinking about it, I want to add art of speaking. Can I do that? Yeah, that's not a problem. We can add that in. Now beyond that, then you would have to pay the regular price at $397. All right. What else? Any other questions? I know we've had several other people continue to join. So welcome to you guys. And again, looking forward to working with you on the inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So what else? Any other questions? Now I'll tell you this, like I mentioned before, a couple other questions that have come up. Two things. One, someone has asked, what about a replay? Okay. Like I said, we will be emailing out a replay tomorrow. We will email out the replay tomorrow. Excuse me. Email out a replay tomorrow. That replay will be available until next Monday, May the 13th. All right. So you got that. Second thing is, Grant, is this how long do I have before this offer goes away? Like I said, these 4 fast action bonuses, those will be disappearing when we are done here. So when we wrap up, these will be going away. But if you join anytime between now and next Monday at midnight, May the 13th, you will get these top 4 bonuses. You'll just be missing out on these 4 fast action bonuses. All right. Jorge said, Grant, did you say the Speaker Lab does not come up to... Did you say if the Speaker Lab does not come up to contact support? Yeah, once you log in, excuse me, if your resources are not all in there, then just contact support at thespeakerlab.com, and we can make sure all that stuff gets added in for you. Should all be there, but if for some reason it's not, then just let us know. One thing you may try if you run into an issue is just try logging out and logging back in. Like if you just set up your account for the first time, try logging out, logging back in, and we can definitely help you out there. Cool. All right. Well, tell you what, we've reached the top of the hour here, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. Hey, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. So many of you have joined Booked and Paid to Speak, and we're excited to work with you and connect with you on the inside. I'm personally excited to help you and serve you within Booked and Paid to Speak. So again, you've got a few more minutes to join if you're finishing up placing your order for the to get those 4 fast action bonuses. Like I said, those 4 fast action bonuses disappear in just a couple minutes when we are done here. We will not be offering those again. Let me be super clear. We will not be offering those bonuses again. So if you want those, this is your chance to get in on this. Okay, I've never done this before. Not doing it again. These 4 will be going away. Okay, so we got a couple people continuing to join, still getting some notifications of people coming in. So looking forward to working with you and connecting with you. All right. Hope you guys have a great evening. Again, if you have other questions, please feel free to email support@thespeakerlab.com. And we look forward to seeing you on the inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. You guys are awesome.